Look who the wind dragged back. Victoria Harrison's sharp voice echoed through the grand lobby of St. Mary's Children's Hospital, loud enough for every parent in the waiting area to hear. With her hand resting firmly on her hip, she smirked coldly and announced, "This is the same girl who dared to claim that my husband is the father of her child." Alina Nadim, only 23, tightened her grip around her 4-month-old baby, Amr. Dozens of curious eyes instantly shifted toward her. Alina had been working here as a nursing assistant for months, but she had never imagined that a simple pediatric appointment could turn into a stage for public humiliation. Victoria, flaunting her designer purse, went on with dramatic gestures. "Everyone should know that this girl tried to trap my husband. She thought a respected man like Dr. Harrison could be manipulated by her lies." Dr. Edward Harrison, head of pediatric cardiology, stood beside his wife in silence. His eyes deliberately avoided Alina's. He was the same man who had once promised Alina that he would care for her and Amr, the same man who had whispered about a future together. And now, in front of the entire hospital, he behaved as if he had never seen them before. One elderly nurse muttered to another, "It's always the same. Young girls think they can secure their future by getting involved with married doctors." Alina inhaled deeply. When she finally spoke, her voice was far calmer than anyone expected. "I didn't come here to bother anyone, Mrs. Harrison. I just came for Amr's appointment. He has a minor heart defect that needs regular monitoring." Victoria threw her head back and laughed cruelly. "How convenient. A heart defect? What a perfect excuse to keep circling around my husband." The waiting area buzzed with murmurs, but Alina stood motionless. What no one noticed was the quiet determination in her eyes. She adjusted Amr slightly in her arms, making sure the small recorder hidden in his diaper bag was still running. Every venomous word, every accusation, every insult, everything was being documented. "I don't have anywhere else to go," she whispered softly, "but Amr needs this treatment." At that very moment, a deep, authoritative voice cut through the tense air. "Perhaps I can help with that." Every head turned toward the tall figure at the entrance. Impeccably dressed, exuding authority, stood Daniel Morgan, one of the city's most powerful businessmen and the largest donor to the hospital. He had witnessed every second of the spectacle. Dr. Harrison quickly shifted his tone. "Ah, Mr. Morgan, what a surprise. This is just a misunderstanding with a former employee. I was handling it." "Former employee?" Daniel raised a brow. "Interesting. And this misunderstanding includes humiliating a young mother with a sick child in front of strangers?" Victoria tried to intervene, her voice suddenly soft. "Oh, Mr. Morgan, please don't misunderstand. This girl tried to blackmail my husband by claiming her child is his. You know how people like her try to take advantage of successful men." "People like her?" Daniel repeated, his tone cold enough to silence the entire room. Alina stayed silent, but her eyes flickered with recognition. This wasn't just a wealthy man protecting the system. There was something deeper in Daniel's expression, a recognition that only came from having battled injustice himself. Daniel stepped closer. "I'd actually like to hear more about this child's case. As the hospital's primary investor, I care deeply that every patient here, regardless of who they are, receives proper care." Victoria squirmed. "Mr. Morgan, truly, there are more important cases than this. This is just a personal matter?" Daniel cut her off sharply. "So, denying a baby medical care is now a personal issue." For the first time, Alina spoke with quiet strength that startled everyone. "Amr was born with a ventricular defect. It's treatable, but it requires proper attention. Dr. Harrison promised me he would oversee his case personally." "Blackmail again," Victoria snapped. "See how she twists things?" But Alina ignored her. She looked directly at Edward Harrison and said firmly, "You promised to leave your wife and that we would build a family together." The silence was deafening. Edward's face drained of color. Victoria's eyes widened with horror. "Edward," she gasped, "tell me this isn't true." "She's lying," he stammered. "She's making this up to destroy me." Alina's tone stayed eerily calm. "I have the messages, Dr. Harrison, including the one from 3 weeks ago, where you asked me to be patient while you found the right time to tell your wife the truth. Daniel's interest sharpened. Messages? Alina reached into her purse, pulling out her phone. Yes, shall I read them aloud here? Panic flashed across Edward's face. Victoria's voice broke as she screamed, "You betrayed me all this time!" For the first time, a faint smile appeared on Alina's lips. Not a smile of joy, but of someone who had just shifted the balance of power. "You forgot something, doctor," she said softly. "Before I was forced into nursing work, I studied investigative journalism. For the last 6 months, I haven't just been recording our conversations. I've been documenting every act of discrimination I've seen in this hospital." Daniel's eyes narrowed, impressed. "So the anonymous reports of malpractice, they were yours?" Alina nodded. "Some were mine. Others came from colleagues who trusted me enough to give them a voice." Edward's body trembled. He could feel his world collapsing. Daniel straightened his posture, his voice cutting like steel. "As the hospital's chief financial backer and trustee, I'm launching an immediate investigation. Dr. Harrison, evidence of racial prejudice and professional misconduct will not be ignored." Victoria's voice was bitter. "Edward, you've destroyed everything. Your marriage, your career, and now even your reputation." Alina gently rocked Amr in her arms, her voice steady. "You thought a single mother with no resources couldn't fight back. But you were wrong. My son is not my weakness. He is my strength." Daniel gave a slight nod. "And you won't be alone in this fight anymore. Justice will be served." The room remained silent, yet every heart present knew one thing. This was not the story of a helpless girl, but the rise of someone who had come not to be defeated, but to change everything.